Salifu, the monkey learns to jump from the tree by Togbah Wleh. Good evening, friends. Today, my friends, is Saturday, July the 25th, 2026, and the time now is 6:12 p.m. Today, I am going to narrate my latest project, and the title is Salifu, the monkey learns to jump from the tree. I am going to begin. Salifu, the monkey learns to jump from the tree by Togbah Wleh. In Africa, our old, and old grandmothers and grandfathers taught us many lessons. One important lesson they taught us is about hard work, patience, repetition, and personal growth. They taught us that by trying often, the monkey learns to jump from the tree. That was exactly what happened to little Salifu, a silly monkey who learned to jump from the tree. In the Great Kongo Rain Forest, there were thousands of monkey clans. Though they had issues with one another, they lived peacefully and they were always on their monkey business. In that rainforest, however, monkeys were expected to be lots of things. They had to be silly. They had to be tricksters. They had to be brave. But most importantly, those monkeys had to be able to jump from tree to tree. For those monkeys, being able to jump from tree to tree was the most important thing. It had many benefits. It meant that no one would be left behind in times of danger. They could get away from predators and hide in safe places and higher up in the trees. In that rainforest, the monkeys could laugh and play. They could hang in the tree. But most importantly, they could just be monkeys. Jumping from tree to tree was their monkey nature. It is what makes a monkey a monkey. But while silliness, trickery, bravery, and successful jumps made the monkeys of the Great Kongo Rain Forest happy, our friend Salifu was the exception. He was silly. He was a trickster. But he was never brave because he kept on falling from the tree. Because of that constant falling, Salifu lost all his confidence. It made him sad and quiet, and he always kept to himself. Salifu was a strange monkey, one who was just different. In fact, too different from the other monkeys. Some of his monkey friends even questioned whether Salifu was indeed a real monkey. While the other monkeys played, Salifu kept to himself. He cried silently to himself. While the others jumped from tree to tree, Salifu walked on the forest ground, which was unwise and dangerous for monkeys. "I can't. I keep falling," Salifu cried when asked to join the jumping party. "I do not want to jump anymore. It's too hard. It hurts and is pretty boring," he would grumble. "Come on, little Salifu. Buck up and keep trying. Nothing is hard unless you do not try," his grandfather would say. "No, Salifu, don't quit. Keep trying. You should," his mother would say. "Come on, my little monkey. That's what monkeys do. We jump from tree to tree. We fall and get up and try some more, his father will say. We never stop jumping and we never quit jumping because we fall. Get up and keep jumping. Salifu's monkey grandmother often cheered him up. Salifu, deep down in you, you have the guts to take on any jumping challenge. You are a monkey, a master of the jumps. We can only get better when we try. Salifu's monkey grandfather often added to give him courage. Those little gestures of encouragement added up slowly and motivated Salifu to work on improving his jumping. He promised to one day take on his greatest challenge ever, jumping from tree to tree. And so Salifu began to practice jumping. He fell and got hurt every time he practices his jumps. He had many bruises and cuts. However, Salifu accepted that to master his jumps, he would have to have the gut to keep trying even when the process is uncomfortable. Finally came Salifu's big day of jumping, and he was going to put on a jumping show for the entire forest. All the monkeys in every clan came out to cheer him up. The trees of the forest were full of hanging, jumping, and swinging monkeys. Many of them balanced in strange positions, but they were never afraid of falling. No one fell. They said to themselves that jumping was what monkeys do. They accepted that if they fell, they would get up and try jumping again until they got better at it. Jump, 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 jump! The other monkeys cheered on as Salifu stepped forward. Though he struggled, he still managed to climb a very big tree. He stood on a branch, eyes closed. Anxious, he perspired and jetted uncontrollably. However, the Great Kongo Forest was silent. All the other monkeys held their breath in fear for Salifu, but they watched curiously. Has Salifu mastered his jumps? Will he jump successfully? Will he fall and hurt himself? Many of the monkeys in the forest asked themselves anxiously, but still they watched curiously. Shivering, Salifu stepped closer and closer toward the end of the branch. Jump, 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 jump! The other monkeys continued to cheer. Suddenly, Salifu sprang from the branch, his right hand reaching for a tangled liana nut. He missed, and down on the forest ground he went, falling on his back. Ooh! Ouch! The other monkeys reacted in fear for Salifu. Aye! It hurts! Salifu screamed in pain. He wanted to quit, but he thought to himself that this was his moment to get better at something. Salifu thought about his family and his friends and all the other monkeys cheering him up. He thought about his mother and his father. He thought about his monkey grandmother and monkey grandfather. Today, I am not going to disappoint anyone, Salifu said to himself. Today, I am going to master my jumps if it is the last thing I do. He got up and began to climb the tree again, bravely. Salifu got back on the same branch and walked towards the edge of the branch. He sprang again, with his right hand reaching for this same tangled liana knot. Salifu grabbed it but couldn't hold on to it. Down to the forest ground he went, falling on his face. Ooh! Ouch! Again, the other monkeys reacted in fear for Salifu. Aye! It hurts! Very bad! Ooh! Salifu cried. He wanted to quit. He was going to quit. He believed he should quit. However, he had said to himself that he was not going to disappoint anyone. Not his mother, not his father, not his monkey grandmother, and not his monkey grandfather, not his friends, and not the other monkeys cheering him up. So once again, Salifu got back up and climbed the tree bravely. When he got up in the tree, he jumped and failed. Then he tried again and failed. Salifu tried again and again and again until finally, just before the evening sun began to die down, success at last. Salifu's hard work paid off. With his eyes tightly shut, his body aching as he shivered aggressively from all his falls, Salifu tremored and tremored his way to the end of the branch. He sprang off the branch. His reaching hand grabbed the same tangled liana knot, and then sprang and grabbed another tangled liana knot, and another, and another, and another. He sprang from one tree to another, and from one branch to another, as everyone cheered on. His mother, his father, his monkey grandmother and monkey grandfather, his friends, and all the other monkeys in the Great Kongo Forest cheered him on. When Salifu opened his eyes, he realized what was happening. He was jumping like monkeys were supposed to. He realized that he had been wrong all along. He said to himself that jumping was fun, and he was happy that he was jumping from tree to tree. He loved jumping and could not get himself to stop jumping. In fact, he did not want to stop, so he kept on springing and jumping onto every tree, branch, and tangled liana knot in the Great Kongo Forest. The end. Now, friends, what did you learn? So, Salifu learned a lot from his jumping dilemma. But what did you learn from Salifu? And can you apply the lesson Salifu learned to your own life and the challenges that you have faced in the past, or the challenges that you currently face? If so, please write a story about it and share with everyone, your friends and your family. Okay, friends, once again, good evening. Today, my friends, is Saturday, July the 25th, 2026, and the time now is 6:44 p.m. So, friends, I want you to tell me what you think, and really, friends, I want to hear what you think about this latest project of mine, Salifu the Monkey Learns to Jump from the Tree. So, I had the idea for this story. It was on the 26th of April this year, 2026. I was actually making a drawing. I was drawing a police officer. And during the time, I had this idea for Salifu the Monkey Learns to Jump from the Tree. So this is another idea that I've been having, which is I am going to write story based on an African proverb. And also this goes further to an idea that my best friend and I, Kodero and I, we've been ideating for the past year now, which is to write a book about financial literacy and self-help based on African proverb. So to link every decision we make to an African proverb. And with this, I have this idea for this piece, Salifu the monkey learns to jump from the tree, which is, okay, let me use an African proverb. Now, I have been using African proverb, and especially this one. It is one of the over 20 African proverbs that I have in a document, okay, in a PowerPoint document, which I choose from. And at the beginning of the school year, when I'm introducing myself, I often highlight some of these proverbs. And this is one of the proverbs that I often highlight to students, which is, by trying often a monkey learns to jump from the tree. To try to let them know that whether we are talking about our relation or interactions as teachers and students, or as individuals, our personal experiences in life, that we are going to hit the wall. And even our relationship with students, okay, me and them as teacher and student, that they are not going to like some of the thing I do or say to them, or the way I push them, and vice versa. However, the more we allow each other to be ourselves, okay, the more we get better in our interaction. And also this goes further with the lessons, the materials, okay, our education. Whatever we are learning, history, math, science, biology, and so on, we are going to hit the wall or hit challenges, and we can only get better the more we try, okay? The more we stand up against difficulty. And this is the way this story unfolds. It is with me using an African proverb to try to tell a story. Now, friends, I am going to be doing this in the days, weeks, months, years, and decades to come, especially if I live longer, if I'm healthy, and so on and so on and so on. So, friends, once again, please tell me what you think, and I really want to know what you think. Please tell me what you think. And friends, thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you very much for being a member of this channel, TNVTTS. Thank you very much for supporting the cause. Thank you very much for sharing this story with your friends, your families, your kids, and so on. And friends, once again, before I leave you, the title is Salifu the Monkey Learns to Jump from the Tree. Once again, Salifu the Monkey Learns to Jump from the Tree. And this is based on the African proverb, by trying often the monkey learns to jump from the tree. Once again, the African proverb, by trying often the monkey learns to jump from the tree. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.